Welcome to the Geeks Assembled podcast. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Hello there and welcome. Yes, we are Geeks Assembled and we have gathered here again, and this time we're going to talk about Space 1999, and it's the very first episode. According to Lee, it's called Breakaway, and before we break away, let's have our opening thoughts. I nearly forgot what I was going to say then. Let's have opening thoughts and let's go to Alex since he's unmuted. Just opening thoughts.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite TV shows, although it's in the top 20. As we mentioned before, the coming up sequence, also in the theme song and the partial disco beat in the first season. They changed it for the second season.
What?
And I watched it again. I remembered most of it also. But, I actually did like it. And it was a lot more, quote-unquote, earthy for the time. I mean, you could tell that they were trying to be futuristic and all that, but it still had a basic three stories going on between the characters, the crew, the politicians and officers, and then the further dilemma in the story.
And let's go to Lee. Let's go to Lee.
Yeah, I remember this when I was a kid, when it was first broadcast in 1975. It's one of my favourite sci-fi shows. I just love the camaraderie of all the characters in this. Koenig, Dr. Russell, and the Professor, played brilliantly by Barry Morse. I'll get onto that later on with Barry Morse. Yeah. He's a brilliant actor. I'm not a big fan of Gerry Anderson, the puppetry work. I'm not into all that. I was never a big fan of any of this series. This one I absolutely love. So yeah, it's a good sci-fi show, and it's got a sort of eco message as well to go along the way about nuclear waste.
Yep, nuclear waste. Yeah.
Yeah.
And let's go to Beef Dad. Just opening thoughts. We'll get on to characters into more depth in a bit.
Yeah, I remember when this started way back in 1975, and I was in my mid-20s then. Unlike Lee, who was still dribbling.
He's still dribbling now. We don't know where from, though. The source hasn't been located yet.
Considering the time, and it had an extraordinary cast. Martin Landau, Barbara Bain, Barry Morse, Roy Dotrice, Philip Maddock was in it, and just doing a sort of small part. Ian McShane, who went on to be a massive star, but he just did a little sort of infill part in this. And the concept hadn't been touched before of the Earth, of the Moon going out of orbit, and considering we had the moon landings and everything, they extrapolated Gesundheit, and it just worked. It just worked so well. And basically, Moonbase Alpha and the Moon became a sort of British version of the Star Trek Enterprise. They bumped into all sorts of aliens, got into all sorts of problems, sorted all sorts of problems out. It was just really, really well conceived, brilliantly executed, superbly acted, and I loved it.
I have to say for me, because we'll go on to Susan in a minute once she comes back, it looks like if she's literally selling everything from her house at the moment. So if she keeps on coming on and off, it's because she's got a sale going on. But for me, I've never seen this before. And when I heard we were doing it, I thought, you know what, I was quietly confident that I would like it. I don't know why, but I was quietly confident I was going to enjoy it. And I did. I really did enjoy this. I think the effects are really good. It might just be me. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just because I watched it on my laptop on YouTube. But I thought some of the sets looked really good. And the explosions, like, it wasn't just one explosion. Boom, 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 boom. I just thought it was great. And the intro, I just love the intro. I really love that intro. It's when I watched that intro, completely sold me on the whole thing. Completely sold me on the whole thing. Completely. So that's really my opening thoughts. We'll get back to Susan in a minute when she comes back. I don't know how long she's going to be. But let's just go into any favourite characters, any standout characters. Because to be honest, I don't know them too well because this is only the very first episode I watched. But they're all good. I think they're all good, you know.
Well, you know, Commander Koenig, played brilliantly by Martin Landau, and Dr. Russell, played by Barbara Bain, were married at the time when they were filming this, but they were mostly known for Mission Impossible back in America from the 60s up to the early 70s, where they appeared.
Is that like the film?
Yeah, that's what the films are based on. The TV show from the 60s.
Oh, is it? So Tom Cruise stole them.
Literally, yeah. But yeah, those two work so well together on screen, Barbara Bain and Martin Landau. And then you've got Barry Morse as the Professor. I think he's a very good character actor. Yeah, was a very good character actor. And I loved him in anything he did. Even going back to the what do you call it? One with one-armed man, The Fugitive. He appeared in the original Fugitive TV series. But yeah, those three main characters, they were like the English version of Star Trek.
That's what I thought.
Of Kate Spock and Dr. McCoy, you had Dr. Russell, Koenig, and the Professor. But it was as Beef Dad said. Philip Maddock turned up with a little cameo at the beginning of it. You've also got Prentice Hancock in there, who's well known for popping up in cult sci-fi shows of the 70s and 60s. He's done a few Doctor Who's as well. But yeah, they're good characters, and you also had good supporting actors in this show. As the series went along, you did have big name stars like Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, Brian Blessed. But for me, it's the three main characters in season one. Those three, because in season two, the Professor just sort of disappears without a trace for some reason. So yeah, I've got those three as my main favourite characters.
Alex, favourite characters?
I really didn't like the character of Koenig. I liked Barbara Bain's character. I liked the Professor, but like Lee said, he disappears after the first series. I did like Catherine Schell's character, Maya, but that's the other episodes. And then it sort of became, well, what sort of creature will she turn into next week? And I'm not quite sure. Maybe with the ending of the series or the partial delay and then cancellation, they finally sort of fleshed her out more because she became kind of animalistic, just what animal of the week she'll turn into. And then there was supposed to be two other characters. I can't remember the guy's name. Wasn't there like a fourth in command? He was a pilot or something in the show, and I'm trying to remember his name.
Carter.
Yeah, Carter. Yep. So there were other characters. Yeah, there was another character, and wasn't there another woman that was always at the view screens? She was like watching the command center most of the time. That woman with the very short haircut. I can't remember her. Oh, you're muted, Beef Dad. You're muted.
Sandra was the character that you're thinking of.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah,
So I'd have to say Barbara Bain's character, the Barry Morse character, as Beef Dad said, and then Maya at the end, as far as favorite characters for the whole series. But like Lee said, I enjoyed all the side characters, Peter Bowles and Leo McKern and Peter Cushing and all the other guest stars on the series was good.
What about Beef Dad for favourite characters? Any standout characters in this?
Well, apart from the three mains, I really enjoyed Roy Dotrice, but then I loved everything that Roy Dotrice did. A man, genius actor, and so were his daughters. They were brilliant actresses. There were no weak points. That's the thing.
I agree.
No weak points at all. I mean, even the computer voice, the voice of the computer, Barbara Kelly. She was the wife of Bernard Braden. But yeah, everybody who was anybody ended up doing a cameo or a part in Space 1999 because it was so brilliantly conceived, so well acted, and so beautifully done.
Yeah, the sets. I think the sets and the direction as well. You know, there's a really good camera shot where you get a really good size of like the inside of the ship, where it's just like it's on the upper level and it's looking down. You can see everybody at the control panels, and it just shows you how big the inside of the ship is. You know, it's a really good it's really good direction. I think it does have this has good direction. It has good camera work in this, and the outside scenes I think are done very well as well. You know, when they're on the moon in the spacesuits.
I was going to say, it's not a ship, it's a moon base.
Yeah, the moon base, yeah.
Well, you say with the direction, but you said the outside scenes. I mean, that was all model work. That is, I'll give you a tip of hat to Gerry Anderson.
Very good model.
That's what he was good at, was the model work, all the tiny models, all the moon scenes with the flying eagle, the ships are called eagles. All that lot was all models on strings.
Very good.
Yeah, and you could not see strings. Back then, you usually used to see strings here, there, but not with Gerry Anderson.
Like Thunderbirds.
Yeah, not like Thunderbirds. It moved on from then, but wonderful scenery work there. It's just a wonderful show. It's character led and it's story led, and that's how it should be.
Do you have any favourite moments, Lee, from this episode?
I think my favourite moments is the event when it happens with the explosion of the nuclear atomic just going, and it's pushing the moon out of orbit, and they can't do anything. They're just stuck to the floor, stuck to the walls. And then the realisation later on, as they're going further away from Earth, the signal from Earth, the TV satellite is just gone. They're on their own. They're on their own. They're out there. Just the moon is just moving outwards and outwards to who knows where. I mean, that is just brilliant. It is a good put together show, and it's a shame it only had 2 seasons.
And it was axed, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was. I think it was
due to ratings or something, was it? Or
I think it cost too much. I think it cost too much to make, to be honest.
When I watched it, I thought, you know, this is. I can imagine this is an expensive series. You can see that they put a lot of money into it.
You did have two big American actors playing the leagues at the time, so I bet most of the money went on those two as well.
Well, wasn't it ITV that produced it, and then
I
the
can't
other
remember
problem?
what it said.
Yeah, the ITV network, and then
I
think
think it had something to do with Mr. Luke Grade. So I think it had something to do with him.
Oh, did it? Oh.
Yeah.
If you know who Luke Grade is.
Father of Michael Grade.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can blame him for Michael Grade.
And then the other issue of I guess they had a lot of cost overruns and all that, because I guess with this, I guess they had over 10 episodes that they thought that they had run out of budget, or it took too long to film or whatever.
Do you have any favourite moments in this episode, Alex? Just any favourite ones from this specific
well, like I
one?
said, I mean, Roy Deutrich is good, and yeah, the event where they had the explosion and everybody's sort of pinned to the floor, I guess, for half an hour or whatever.
The G-Force, yeah.
Yeah, G-Force, and then of course you have the shuttles, which were a good idea. The other story, the other conflict in the story about the space virus or radiation making the other people die or go crazy and then die or whatever.
And those white eyes were creepy when their eyes
wasn't it green? Wasn't it green
was
and
it
white?
green? Was it all white?
Green, milky.
Yeah. It was like
Milky,
whitish, wasn't it?
milky blue.
Yeah.
Milky blue.
Milky blue, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. So what about Beef Dad for favourite moments in this episode? If you've got any?
The crash was very good. That was so brilliantly done. But then they've done a great deal of things like that with Fireball XL5 and all those stuff, all those things. Yeah, the being pinned by the G-Force, again, a magical moment. Yeah, there's nothing specific, nothing wildly.
It's all good, isn't it? It's all good, isn't it?
It's all good. It's the whole thing just blends into a, oh my God, I'm just enjoying this whole thing.
Yeah, that's the feeling I had, yeah.
Yeah, you don't sort of think, oh, that's brilliant, oh, that's brilliant, because the whole thing is just sort of flowing. Brilliant.
It's got a very good pace. It doesn't, doesn't get boring or anything.
And it's surprising as well how much this did fit into 50 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
That's good story writing.
Yeah, no, I agree. So does anybody have anything else to add?
I remember, and I'm gonna have to see if there's any stores around here in this state again.
I'm sure there's stores around where you are, Alex.
The novelizations of Space 1999, and I remember reading. Yeah, and I remember reading some of them, and I liked them. I liked them too. I just hadn't read any for a long time.
And I want to give a shout out to the Flares. Just a shout out to the Flares.
It's just come to me now, not about this story, but further down the line, a certain Bernard Cribbins appears in a story.
Oh, brilliant, is he? Oh, great.
And if I remember rightly, it's called Brian the Brain. If I remember rightly. So if you ever go watch that one, Bernard Cribbins, yeah.
You can't beat him. Cannot beat Bernard Cribbins.
That's what I mean. They had so many brilliant guest stars from film, from TV.
A bit like Doctor Who then, really.
In nearly every episode they had a special guest star.
And then I remember too, they it was so funny. There's a Spanish station here in Massachusetts, and they would show Space 1999 in Spanish. At like midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. So, and they had a lot of the first season, as a matter of fact.
So there's 50 episodes of this, is there, did you say? 50?
50, 52, something like that.
Have you got them all on DVD, have you, Lee? Or
Yeah, I've got 2 box sets somewhere over there. Why do you want to borrow them?
oh no, pull the box sets out. Let's see the
No, they're all.
Oh yeah, because you rejected.
I've got
you wouldn't be able to find them. You can't even move to the door. He's just been sat there for the last 2 days in the chair. He can't even get to the door.
Yeah.
He can't even swing on his chair. That's how bad things are. Usually he's swinging on his chair.
Have they?
He might be sat on the commode at the moment because of the leakage that Beef Dad mentioned. But we won't go there. Let's not go there.
Did they have?
Beef Dad's very brave for drinking it though. Anyway,
did they have?
Alex,
did they have actors' commentaries on the DVDs, Lee?
oh yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, they have commentaries.
No.
No. So were there any extras in the DVD set at all?
It was just all just notes and biographies and stuff like that. Yeah.
Are many of the actresses and actors alive now from it?
Well, Barbara Bain's still alive and Martin Landau's still alive.
Yeah, Catherine Shell should still be alive.
Yeah, Barry Morse is still alive. I know that for a fact.
No, I think
Barbara Bain's still alive.
Did you choose this to review, Lee?
I think I did in panic because I think last time.
Don't put it like we panicked. Don't.
No. Because I think it was in an off-air conversation and was trying to just find out what we could do. And I just went, let's do Space Nine because we couldn't think of anything. To be honest, I'm glad he handled it like that because it is a good series.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I probably wouldn't have never watched it if it wasn't for this group, and that's the best thing about being part of this group. It's
educational. You discover these shows what you've never heard of.
Exactly. I've learned more from being in this group than I ever did in education. That is saying a lot.
Ooh.
Most of the stuff has been in this group has affected my life forever. In many good ways, but sadly even more bad ways.
I'm not saying.
Anyway. I wasn't on medication before I started doing this. I mean, even Susan's gone. Susan can't cope. Susan's gone to the ninth floor.
I think you need stronger medication.
But if anybody out there has any suggestions for things for us to review, then comment below. Because we'll review anything, won't we, Lee? We'll review anything within reason.
Apart from porn.
Apart from porn, let's we can always do that in YouTube Red for the paying customers, but we don't have any, so there we go. But just mention Frozen, yeah. Just mention Frozen so many times.
No, you don't have to do that.
No, you do that. You do that yourself.
Well, shall we move on to final say and score? Because I don't think Susan's going to come back.
Well, if she does, she can do her bit and stick it together.
I think she literally is selling everything. I bet you she'll turn the camera around and everything is gone. But even the wallpaper on that side is completely gone. But everything's gone. The door's been taken off. Everything gone. The windows are out. You know.
It's quite with me having met one of the stars of it.
Who have you met?
Last October.
Who have you met?
Go on, Lee.
Oh, is this a guessing game?
Well, if I said caterpillar eyebrows.
Caterpillar eyebrows.
Yes. Or City of Death.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Is it dinner? Is it dinner time?
Catherine Shell. And she's such a lovely lady. And she's hardly changed. It's extraordinary. She's barely aged at all in all that time.
Some people are lucky, aren't they, Beef Dad?
It's so annoying.
I wasn't going to say it.
But no, and she's a lovely lady. She loved doing Space 1999. She absolutely loved the show and doing it. And she said the cast were great to work with. And it was just so much fun.
It's like Lee says, it reminds me a bit of Star Trek. Reminds me a bit of Star Trek.
Well, what you got to realise is Star Trek was sort of first broadcast in the UK round about this time, early 70s, mid 70s.
Yeah, but did people know about Star Trek then? Did people know about it?
Well, it was aired in America in the 1960s, but we didn't get it till the 70s, sort of thing. And you know, so maybe this was their take on Star Trek.
So did Star Trek kill this then?
No.
What happened?
No, nothing killed this.
Apart from budgetary reasons, I suppose.
Budgetary
A
reasons.
Louis grade.
But, you know.
I wonder where his son got it from.
Yes, and the irritating fat bloke who used to run it.
Big cigar.
Yeah.
But you've got to be thankful. If it wasn't for Lou Grade, we would have never got the Muppets.
This is true, yeah.
And we've got him here today.
True.
There you go.
Yes. Thank you so much. I suggest you go and lie down in a dark room.
Anyway, let's do our final thoughts. Come on.
Anyway, we might as well move on to final say and score, mightn't we? Because I don't think there's anything else you want to add, is there? So we might as well move on to final say and score. And let's go with Beef Dad. Susan. But how much have you made now?
There was like 12 people out there, but nobody bought anything, so. Yeah.
There was 12 people.
Score? Are we to final say and score?
No, you can have your opening thoughts, favourite characters and moments if you want to put them all into one.
Opening thoughts. Glad I finally watched this. But it really wasn't it wasn't everything that I expected. But still fun, cheesy, science fiction, good that let's see. What's his name? Martin Landau was awesome, and yeah, so I guess his character was my favorite, and interesting tidbits. It looked a little bit like the Moonbase in Doctor Who, kind of sort of thing, but anything basey on the moon will look like the Moonbase.
Yeah, to be honest, it will look all the same when it's Susan, really. I don't want to tell you what the ship looked like. Let's just carry on.
Let's carry on. And so
I'll get into trouble otherwise, Susan.
Yeah, so I guess I'll rate it. I love how there was all these people from both sides of the pond, as it were, in this, so that was fun, and so I'll give it 8.5.
Oh, 8.5, that's decent. And let's go to Beef Dad for his final say and score.
Am I supposed to be indecent now?
Yeah, you can be whatever you want to be. It's your life. Live it the way you want, Beef Dad.
Yeah. Well, remembering the reaction when it was first broadcast, and when I heard we were reviewing it, I went, right. Yeah, it was nice having.
And everybody in the shopping centre stared at him.
To watch it back again, and you know, if something brings out that reaction in you.
Yes, I agree. It doesn't do it that often anymore, though, Beef Dad.
No, but it was a brilliant cast. It was a brilliant idea. It was brilliantly executed. I loved the idea of the moon as a spaceship, which is what it ended up as. Just superb stuff. And for me, Full House.
A full house. There we go. And it's something the Daleks would do, really, isn't it? Turn the moon into a spaceship, like the Earth. Alex, since you're unmuted and you're here back with us, final say and score.
Yeah, I did like the first episode. Like I said, I prefer the first series to the second series, even with Catherine Schell. And of course, like I said, I love the guest stars, and I think that's primarily the reason why I liked it. Theme song was good too. I'd have to give this a score of 8, and I'd say I'd actually have it a little higher. I actually was able to get some of them on DVD as well, and I'll keep them. So I did like it. Yeah, I'd give it a score of 7.5 or 8, one of those.
Yep, thank you, Alex. And let's go to Hull with Lee for his final say and score.
It's a damn good sci-fi show. It's a pity they don't make them like this anymore. This is what we need, something like this on the TV. Character-led, well-written stories. What can I say? Guest stars are brilliant as the season goes on. Guest stars are brilliant. As I said before, Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, Brian Blessed, they're all in this series. But for this episode, it's a wonderful start to a brilliant cult sci-fi show. There are better episodes, but this build, starts the season off on a high. So for me, I'm giving it 8.5. It gets better as it goes along.
And for me, well, I have to say, I definitely enjoyed watching this. I will definitely watch the second episode because I just thought it was just so good, and it's just completely, I mean, even if it's just to listen to that intro again with the theme tune, and just to watch the intro, it's just like, I'll just do it just for that. In fact, I might just sit and watch the intro on repeat on my own. But anyway, enough about my life. And so, yeah, do you know what? I'm so glad that Lee picked this because I really, really did enjoy it. The cast were excellent. The acting was excellent. The scenery, the models of the moon and the spaceships, it just all worked for me. Just completely worked. It went at a good pace. It never dragged. So the 50 minutes felt like nothing, really. The 50 minutes felt like nothing. I didn't once think, oh, I'm bored, or, I didn't once pause or look at the clock or, do something else. I just watched it. I mean, I messaged Lee a few times about a few things that I noticed, but I can't go into that. So yeah, for me, it is, I think I'm going to give it a 10 because I don't see anything wrong with it. I love the explosions as well. I thought the explosions were really good, and that ship crashing was good. The way they did the G-force was good, but especially the explosions and when it went, it's just, yeah, cool. You're all right there, Lee. I haven't frightened you, have I? No, you're all right, good. We don't want anything happening, So he's just checking just in case. It's not full yet. Doesn't need changing.
So by a full house, Beef Dad, do you mean a 10 out of 10?
Yeah.
So the two of you guys did 10 out of 10s.
Yep. I'm glad somebody cleared that up, Susan. You should have shouted bingo. She's got bingo. It's that opportunity. Anyway, talking about Full House, Susan's not going to have much of one left, is she, by selling all this stuff? Anyway, we're going to go now. We are going to go. We're going to put this cast out of its misery, because he really looks like if he's going to nod off, he's gone. Anyway, I've just spat all over the screen now. Oh, Jesus. Anyway, have a good night. Take care. Tell us what you think about Space 1999 below, and tell us whatever you want. Tell us, the day. What day have you had? Let's have a chat. Let's have a chat. Think of us as your agony aunts. Think of us as your agony aunts. Tell us your problems. I mean, maybe you've got piles. Well, maybe you've got a blister on your foot or something. I don't know. Just tell us below. We just love having comments. Tell us what you think about Alex and his eating. Let's make a new game here. What's Alex eating? Comment below what you think Alex is eating. Alex will put the answer down below at the end of the week. So guess what he's eating? Got a bowl. You're ruining it now, Alex. All right, guess what that is. And look after yourself. Take care, and we'll see you next time.